Sambisa forest when they came under heavy fire. The patrol team, led by the commander of the 25 Brigade, Brigadier General M. Uba, included soldiers from the brigade and members of the civilian Joint Task Force. They reportedly fought through the ambush with superior firepower, forcing the insurgents to retreat. 2 soldiers and 2 members of the CJTF lost their lives during the encounter, having fallen in active service to the nation. The army commended the troops for their bravery and expressed condolences to the families and associates of the fallen personnel. The army headquarters also dismissed circulating reports alleging the abduction of the brigade commander, describing the claims as false and urging the public to disregard such misinformation. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, acknowledged the courage, resilience, and sacrifices of the troops operating in one of the country's most dangerous conflict zones, noting that their commitment remains a testament to the daily efforts made to safeguard Nigeria. The latest attack comes just a month after Boko Haram terrorists killed the commanding officer in the 202 Tank Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Aliyu Paiko, and several soldiers during an assault in the Kashmiri area of Bama local government area, also in Borno State. Kebbi State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has announced its decision to boycott the party's national convention scheduled for Saturday in Ibadan, Oyo State. According to the chapter's publicity secretary, Sani Dodo, the Kebbi PDP is distancing itself from the convention due to the candidacy of Kabiru Tanimu Turaki, who is seeking the position of national chairman. The chapter questioned Turaki's legitimacy as a party member, citing his suspension in April 2023 for alleged gross misconduct, anti-party activities, and failure to pay party dues. The suspension issued by his Nasarawa 1 ward also affected 7 other members, including former gubernatorial candidate General Bello S. Yaki. In a petition dated October 25, 2025, the Kebbi State PDP formally notified the chairman of the screening committee for the National Convention of its rejection of Turaki's nomination based on these issues. The petition, jointly signed by Chairman Alhaji Usman Bello, Suru, and Secretary Abubakar Bawa Kalgo, included a list of signatures and phone numbers from both the State Working Committee and non-Working Committee members, all expressing their opposition to Turaki's candidacy. The KB PDP chapter warned that anyone presenting themselves as a delegate from the state would be doing so without party's authorization. All delegates from KB State are reportedly remaining at home in protest. Despite the boycott, the National Convention is expected to proceed with various stakeholders and delegates in attendance. Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has changed new solid waste management contractors to ensure an immediate improvement in sanitation in the FCT, warning that excuses would not be tolerated. The minister gave the charge in a meeting with the 54 solid waste cleaning contractors who were recently awarded waste cleaning contracts, where he warned against misconduct towards work, assuring for quick payment only when the work is well done. Wike emphasized on serious cleaning up in regular basis in the city center and areas diplomats reside, such as Asokoro, Maitama, Wuse, and Guzape, also calling on residents to cooperate with the contractors for smooth execution of waste in the city, while announcing that a task force would be set up immediately to monitor the contractors' operations, adding that future payments would be subject to satisfactory performance. Speaking on behalf of the contractors, Mr. Ibrahim Babayo thanked the minister for the audience and urged his colleagues to heed the warnings, while also pledging the contractors' commitment to ensuring a clean FCT. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has congratulated former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose on his 65th birthday, describing him as a valuable friend and brother who is always clear about his stance on issues. In a statement issued by Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and New Media, Larry Olayinka Wike noted that Fayose remains a key reference point in Nigerian politics and governance. He praised Fayose's contributions to the country and highlighted that reaching the age of 65 reflects both divine grace and a continued call to serve Nigeria. Wike wished Fayose good health, fruitful years ahead, and immeasurable blessings, emphasizing his reliability and steadfastness as an ally in both personal and political matters. Headquarters of the Joint Task Force Operation Hedinkai in the northeast said the troops of 232 Battalion Tactical operating under Sector 4 of the theater have recorded a breakthrough with the arrest of a key drug supplier to Boko Haram terrorists in Adamawa State. Zubairu Mohammed, 45 years, was arrested in the early hours of Thursday at Uba town. In a statement by the spokesman of the theater, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba revealed the suspect is believed to be a major distributor of cannabis, sativa, and ice substances to terrorists across Askira, Uba, Chibok, Michika, and Damboa areas of Adamawa and Borno states. Items recovered from him include 14 blocks of cannabis sativa valued at over 1 million naira, 43.9 grams of ice valued at over 3 million, and 2 army camouflage t-shirts reportedly used while peddling the illicit drugs, according to preliminary investigations. The recovered exhibits will be handed over to the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, Yola Command, for further action. The military high command commended the troops for the impressive performance, urging them to sustain the operational tempo. Chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Zamfara State, Omar Moriki, has been reportedly killed by gunmen suspected to be armed bandits. Moriki was reportedly attacked and shot dead on Saturday morning along the Gusau-Safe Highway near Feji village in the Safe local government area while traveling from Gusau to Kaduna. The state chapter of the APC, under the leadership of Tukor Damfulani, confirmed the incident, describing it as a tragic loss to the party and the state. In a statement issued by the public secretary of the party in Zamfara State, Yusuf Idris, the late APC stalwart, had just participated in the party's stakeholders meeting hosted by the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawali. Moriki held several key political positions during his lifetime, including as the Vice Chairman of the Zurimi Local Government Area, Director General of a state agency, and Special Advisor on Rural Electrification. He also contested the Zormi Shinkafi House of Representatives seat in the 2023 elections. Moriki died at the age of 62 and is survived by 3 wives and several children. The APC described Moriki as a dedicated party man and community figure who devoted his life to public service and humanitarian support. Nigerian Air Forces carried out precision airstrikes that destroyed a major terrorist stronghold in Sauri Camp, Safe local government area of Zamfara State. In a statement released on Saturday, the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame on X, the NAF said the air interdiction was conducted on November 14, 2025 by the air component of Operation Pansan Yama. According to Ejodame, the strikes followed comprehensive intelligence and surveillance operations which confirmed significant terrorist activity and rustled livestock concealed on a high ground hideout used by the criminals as both defensive position and a logistics hub. The statement said the air component executed multiple coordinated strike passes on the identified targets, achieving direct hits that dislodged surviving terrorists attempting to flee into surrounding vegetation, where they were subsequently attacked and effectively engaged. Ejodame added that the successful mission resulted in the neutralization of numerous terrorists and the destruction of critical structures and logistics points, significantly degrading criminals' operations capability in the area. He quoted the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Kelvin Aneke, as reaffirming the NAF's resolve to sustain pressure on terrorists, saying the force would find them, hunt them down, and protect our people. President Bola Tinubu has called on stakeholders to join his administration in addressing the challenges facing tertiary education in the country, particularly in the area of funding. The president noted that education could not be left to the government alone, emphasizing the need for collaboration among stakeholders. He made the call on Saturday during his address at the 36th convocation ceremony of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Ondo State, where no fewer than 1,030 students were awarded postgraduate degrees. Earlier on Friday, a total of 1,717 students received first degrees across the university's 10 faculties. Tinubu, represented by the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Universities Commission, Professor Abdullahi Ribadu, said while the government would continue to support tertiary education funding, it remained the collective responsibility. The president also urged academics to conduct research that would meaningfully address the country's challenges. Addressing the graduates, Tinubu encouraged them to use the knowledge acquired at the institution to contribute to Nigeria's economic development. In his remarks, the Vice Chancellor of FUTA, Professor Adenike Oladeji, said the university would continue to pursue its tripodal mandate of teaching, research and community service with unrelenting fervor. Federal government has launched the Innovation, Development and Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills initiative in technical and vocational education and training to address youth unemployment. The flag-off ceremony marks the official start of technical and vocational training for youths in the Federal Capital Territory. Under the initiative, 3,000 youths in the Abuja zone will undergo 6 months of training. Trainees will receive stipends during the program and starter packs upon completion. ID's TVET is designed to equip youths with practical skills for both employment and entrepreneurship. The program includes extensive monitoring mechanisms to ensure success. Each of the 774 local government areas has designated officers responsible for tracking progress and submitting reports to the monitoring and evaluation units. Additionally, zonal M&E officers and an independent third-party monitoring team will submit findings directly to the Minister of Education. The initiative's funding model ensures sustainability and long-term affordability. It also aligns with broader federal reforms in technical education, including the conversion of former science and technical colleges into full-fledged technical institutions to strengthen technological development. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, has dismissed allegations suggesting that Christians are being systematically targeted or killed in Nigeria, insisting that the country is not witnessing any form of religious genocide. Fagbemi made the statement on Saturday at the coronation of the 21st Ellerin of Erinle Oba Jimo Adebowale Adesoye Adetona 1, held in Erinle Oyun local government area of Kwara State. The minister described claims circulating both locally and internationally as misleading and dangerous, saying violence across the country does not discriminate along religious or ethnic lines. According to him, persistent insecurity in some parts of Nigeria affects communities regardless of their religious composition, noting that states with predominantly Muslim populations have also experienced repeated violent attacks. The AGF maintained that the federal government was intensifying efforts to tackle terrorism, banditry, and other security challenges, stressing that recent operations had yielded significant progress. Fagbemi also reiterated his call for patience with the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, describing ongoing reforms as essential to repositioning the country. Health sector stakeholders have adopted a set of comprehensive plans aimed at improving service delivery, strengthening accountability, and enhancing coordination across all levels of Nigeria's healthcare system. This was contained in the communique issued after a 3-day deliberation at the Nigeria Health Sector sector-wide joint annual review in Abuja. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Daju Kachalum, who delivered the communique arising from high-level deliberations and commitments, said the measures include operationalizing the Universal Health Coverage Compact addendum by the first quarter of 2026 through a co-created implementation framework with clear commitments and a tracking mechanism. The communique also highlighted the adoption of biometric verification across primary healthcare centers and insurance platforms to curb ghost workers, strengthen attendance monitoring, and improve human resource management. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, urged state governments to ensure full implementation and commitment to the action plan of the review. The Permanent Secretary, Daju Kachalom, delivering the communique, further noted that stakeholders advocated the scaling of the primary healthcare financial management system, expanding health insurance enrollments to 5 million Nigerians, including 1 million vulnerable persons by 2026, and strengthening supply chain resilience through local manufacturing of priority health commodities. National Working Committee of the Accord Party has dismissed the purported suspension of its national chairman, Maxwell Ngudem. The party described the move by a faction as laughable and the handiwork of political jobbers seeking relevance. A statement issued by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Joseph Omorogbe, explained that the claim announced at a stakeholders meeting in Kefi, Nasarawa State, was spearheaded by former presidential candidate Chris Molem, who the party insists had long been expelled from the party. Omorogbe also described the vote of no confidence was a joke taken too far, saying that Molem merely craved cheap publicity to mislead unsuspecting members of the public. It said that Maxwell Budem remains the authentic national chairman of Accord, duly met in Kefi, announcing Mbudem's suspension over alleged anti-party activities and naming Molem as national chairman. The National Publicity Secretary of the party cited the Federal High Court's judgment and accused the duo of colluding with external political actors in. We'll go on a short break now, and when we return, we will continue with the rest of the stories. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to the rest of our stories. Federal government on Saturday said it has earmarked 40,000 hectares of land for 2025/2026 dry season wheat production and registered 80,000 farmers with an expected output value of approximately 160 billion naira. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, disclosed this during the official flag off of the 2025/2026 dry season wheat production program under the National Agricultural Growth and Agro Pockets project in Jera local government area of Borno State. Speaking at the ceremony, the minister said that out of the 40,000 hectares earmarked for wheat production this dry season, 3,000 hectares have been allocated to Borno State, representing 6,000 registered wheat farmers. Kyari emphasized that the NAGSAP program will deploy agricultural extension agents to guide farmers on modern agronomic practices and provide continuous field levy advisory services. According to him, the wheat component of the NAGSAP program covers 16 states of the Federation. Kyari noted that the project is designed to include women and young people, enabling them to access training and agricultural opportunities. Nigerian filling stations in the Federal Capital Territory have lowered the price of premium motor spirit following the federal government's suspension of a planned 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. Ranoil and Empire filling stations reduced petrol pump prices to 940 naira and 949 naira per litre, respectively down from 955, representing a decrease of between 6 naira and 15 naira per litre. The reduction comes after the government halted the implementation of the import duty, which had been expected to give Dangote Refinery a competitive advantage in the downstream sector and potentially drive up fuel prices. Earlier this month, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited had set its fuel pump price at 945 naira per litre in Abuja. Currently, most filling stations in the city and surrounding areas are selling fuel between 940 naira and 955 naira per litre at the ex-depot level. Petrol at Dangote refineries is priced at 856 naira per litre, while the poor owners such as Aito is 854, Nipco 858 naira, and Pinnacle 858 naira, maintain slightly varied rates. S&P Global Ratings revised Nigeria's outlook to positive from stable on Friday, citing ongoing economic reforms while affirming the country's rating at B to B. The agency noted that the monetary, economic, and fiscal reforms being implemented by Nigerian authorities are expected to yield positive benefits over the medium term. Both the hydrocarbon and non-hydrocarbon sectors show an improving growth outlook, and continued gains are anticipated, particularly in external and monetary performance. Since 2023, President Bola Tinubu has introduced significant reforms, including the removal of the costly petrol subsidy and currency trading restrictions aimed at spurring growth and attracting foreign investment. Analysts suggest that if these reforms are sustained, they could support long-term economic expansion, although implementation challenges and global oil price volatility remains potential risks. Earlier this year, Moody's upgraded Nigeria's rating by one notch to B3 from CAA1, reflecting improvements in external and fiscal positions. Fitch, meanwhile, maintained its B rating with a stable outlook. To address fiscal gaps, Nigeria recently raised $2.35 billion through a Eurobond issuance to help finance its 2025 budget deficit, alongside ongoing domestic borrowing. National Assembly Benin has approved a revision of the country's constitution, extending the presidential term from 5 to 7 years and creating a bicameral parliament. In a post shared on Facebook on Saturday by the Assembly Nationale de Benin, lawmakers announced that the bill was passed during a plenary session held on Friday at the Palace of the Governors in Port Novo. According to the Assembly, 90 deputies voted in favor and 19 against, approving the amendments to the Constitution of 11 December 1990, previously revised in 2019. The legislative body added that in line with Article 154, the proposal first had to secure the required three-quarters majority during the preliminary vote. Deputies met this threshold with 87 votes for and 22 against before proceeding to the final secret ballot. According to the Assembly's breakdown, 15 new articles were created and 18 amended, one of the most significant changes in the newly modified Article 42, which now states the President of the Republic is elected by direct universal suffrage for a term of 7 years, renewable only once. No one may, in his or her lifetime, serve more than 2 terms as President of the Republic. The reform also introduces a bicameral legislature as stipulated in the updated Article 79, giving legislative powers and government oversight to both the National Assembly and the newly established Senate. Under Article 80, deputies' terms are now set at 7 years, renewable with an additional clause stating that any deputy who resigns from the party that sponsored them during legislative elections will automatically lose their mandate. The law also extends the tenure of mayors and municipal councillors to 7 years, renewable. Ethiopia has confirmed an outbreak of the deadly Marburg virus in the south of the country, the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said on Saturday. The Marburg virus is one of the deadliest known pathogens. Like Ebola, it causes severe bleeding, fever, vomiting, and diarrhea, and has a 21-day incubation period. Also, like Ebola, it is transmitted through contact with bodily fluids and has a fatality rate ranging between 25 and 80%. The head of the World Health Organization, Ethiopia's Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, confirmed on Friday that at least 9 cases had been detected in southern Ethiopia 2 days after Africa CDC was alerted to a suspected hemorrhagic virus in the region. Africa CDC said Ethiopian health authorities had acted swiftly to confirm and contain the outbreak in the Jinka area. It added that it would work with Ethiopia to ensure an effective response and reduce the risk of the virus spreading to other parts of East Africa. An epidemic of the Marburg virus killed 10 people in Tanzania in January before being contained in March. Rwanda reported in December 2024 that it had successfully contained its first known Marburg outbreak, which caused 15 deaths. There is no approved vaccine or antiviral treatment for the Marburg virus, but oral intravenous rehydration and treatment of specific symptoms can increase patients' chances of survival. Last year, Rwanda trialed an experimental vaccine from the US-based Sabin Vaccine Institute. 9 people were killed and 31 others injured when confiscated explosives accidentally detonated at a police station in Indian-administered Kashmir, authorities said on Saturday. The incident occurred in Naugam, involving explosives that had been recovered earlier in the week from Faridabad in Haryana, just hours before a powerful car blast in Delhi that killed 12 people. According to the region's Director General of Police, Nalin Prabhat, samples from the recovered materials had been undergoing forensic analysis since Thursday, with officers handling them with maximum caution due to their unstable nature. Despite these precautions, the materials detonated late Friday night around 11:20 p.m., resulting in the deadly explosion. The casualties included police officers, forensic personnel, 2 crime photographers, and members of the local administration. The police station building was heavily damaged and surrounding structures were also affected. Local media reported that the militant group People's Anti-Fascist Front, believed to be linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed, claimed responsibility for the blast. Regional authorities, however, dismissed the claims as false and misleading. JEM has been blamed for several major attacks in India, including the 2001 assault on Parliament and the 2019 Pulwama suicide bombing that killed 40 security personnel. The Indian government has pledged to bring those behind the Delhi attack to to justice, describing it as an act of terrorism carried out in the heart of the nation's capital. And to our sports news. Confederation of African Football has confirmed that Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi is eligible to play in Nigeria's decisive 2026 FIFA World Cup playoffs final against the Democratic Republic of Congo. The update was released on Saturday through the Super Eagles official X account, following concerns that Ndidi's yellow card accumulation might rule him out of the match. CAF clarified that cautions received during the World Cup qualifying series do not carry over into the playoff stage, except where a player is already under an active suspension. Ndidi received the 6th minute booking during Nigeria's 4-1 victory over Gabon on Thursday, that marking his second caution in the qualifiers. Despite this, the Leicester City midfielder remains clear to participate in this crucial encounter as the Super Eagles push for a place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Hull City defender Semi Ajayi could well start Nigeria's 2026 FIFA World Cup playoffs final with Democratic Republic of Congo on Sunday after serving out a one-match ban. The experienced centre-back missed the Super Eagles' 4-1 victory over the Panthers of Gabon on Thursday due to suspension. Calvin Bassey paired young defender Benjamin Frederick at the heart of the team's defense in the absence. Head coach Eric Schell could now move Frederick to right back in place of Bright Osei Samuel to allow Ajayi pair Bassey at centre-back. Ajayi's experience and calmness will be needed against the robust playing DRC. Left back Zaidu Sanusi is expected to keep his place in the starting lineup. And so our entertainment news. Famous Nigerian actor Olarewaju Omiyinka, professionally known as Baba Ijesha, has been released from prison. He regained his freedom on Friday, November 14, 2025, after spending over 3 years in custody over alleged sexual assault. Baba Ijesha was freed following a ruling by the appeal court, which cleared him of all charges related to the case. He was originally sentenced to 16 years imprisonment on July 14, 2022, by the Lagos State High Court for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Amehule leads Rivers delegation to COP30 for climate action. Ame debunks commander abduction rumor after Borno ambush. Tinubu urges stakeholders to support tertiary education funding. FG targets 160 billion naira output value from wheat production. Benin Republic lawmakers approve 7-year presidential term. CAF confirms Ndidi eligible for World Cup playoff final. Actor Baba Ijesha regains freedom after 3 years imprisonment. I am Francis Neka. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, now X, at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.